When most Christians think about priesthood in the Old Testament, their minds go immediately to Aaron and his descendants, who were ordained as priests during the days of Moses, as we read in Leviticus chapters 8 and 9. But it's important to recognize that even before the days of Moses, there were already priests who served God. In a very broad sense, even before the fall into sin, God ordained Adam, the father of the human race, to be his priest. We'll define a priest as a person who mediates between God and his people, so that God will receive them into his special holy presence to grant them his blessing. Priests were required to demonstrate a special measure of loyalty to God by worshiping and serving him alone, and by carefully carrying out the duties that God assigned to them. Old Testament priests often interceded by means of their leadership and guidance, as well as through the ceremonies that God had assigned to them. One common form of intercession was petition for help. Priests often offered prayers that God would heal, rescue, or otherwise aid his people. As our great high priest, Jesus is the one that mediates between God and us, so that we can be accepted into God's special holy presence. He is the one that ensures that we are holy and sanctified to God, so that we can live in God's presence and receive his covenant blessings. Jesus' perfect loyalty to God is a critical aspect of his success as our great high priest. Only by being completely loyal to God can he make his followers perfectly holy and enable us to dwell in God's special holy presence for eternity. As we read in Hebrews chapter 7 verses 24 and 25, because Jesus lives forever, he has a permanent priesthood. Therefore, he is able to save completely those who come to God through him, because he always lives to intercede for them.
But Jesus still has an ongoing personal, relational role that he plays in our lives as our advocate, our mediator, our representation. He's our lawyer that daily, continually goes before the great judge and pleads our case. The great news is because of his atoning work, he never loses a case. He's always appealing to his perfect, completed work on our behalf in his intercessory role as our great high priest. And it's always successful. It's always effective.
Jesus perfectly fulfilled the function of the Old Testament priesthood. He provided leadership, performed ceremonies, including the most important ceremony of all time, his sacrifice on the cross. And he offered intercession for his people. In fact, he continues to perform these basic functions today through his church and through his high priestly work in the heavenly courts. So, as his followers, it's our responsibility to acknowledge and to rely on Jesus as our only access to the Father, and to submit to his ministry as he prepares us to enter God's special holy presence.